My fellow Aries sun, moon, and risings, you know the drill. July of 2025 brings massive shifts to the stars that are going to affect you in specific ways. So, in today's video, let's dive into your July of 2025 horoscope. Hello, my Aries, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Isabel, your spiritual rebel friend, and today we are talking about your horoscope for July of 2025. And I'm trying out a new mic to hopefully give you guys some better sound quality, as I know my sound quality is not the best. So I would love to hear your feedback down in the comments below. Do you feel like this sound quality is better, or do you prefer not having the mic? In today's video, we're going to be diving into all the transits that are happening in July of 2025, which includes some major retrogrades, which for many can cause some fear or invoke some fear, evoke fear into many. But these retrogrades could be actually a very nice pause to bring our energy back into us and to rest and do less while we are in the midst, so to say, of some major positive changes. Additionally, that are going to make this month very restful, relaxing, and actually potentially even very social for Aries in particular. Now, before we dive into today's video, before we get any further, I invite you to book a reading down in the description box below if you want to dive deeper into how July of 2025 is going to play out for you, whether you're an Aries sun, moon, rising, or none of the above. These readings are meant to be tailored for you. Sky is the limit. Learn more about readings down in the description box below, where in 1 hour we can go deep into any and everything regarding the stars. And check out my other astrology offerings, including my astrology coaching program, my astrology course, my career astrology mini course that I just recently launched, and so much more in the website down below in the description box. IsabelRobledo.com is now where I host all of my workbooks, courses, and offerings, because after having to change description boxes more times than I can count, I found that this is just the easier way to do it. And with that spiel out of the way, with all the offerings out of the way and that intro, let's dive into Aries 2025 July horoscope, starting off with one of the most basic transits that we know and love. I'm really trying to figure out how far to hold this mic, so I'm really sorry if this audio isn't great. Hopefully, I do well on this. But let's start off talking with the sun transits. So, in the first 22 days of the month, the sun is still in Cancer. Simple key takeaway is Aries, sun, moon, and rising. You may find that you find more energy and vitality the more you prioritize time to emotionally nurture yourself at home. Wherever the sun transits tells us where we can focus our priorities and our energy. Think of it like a plant in a garden. We want the sun to hit it at the right hours, and there are better seasons for certain areas of life with the sun transits. Now, from the 22nd onward, the sun will be in Leo, which is going to create a shift. Instead of wanting to spend time at home, prioritize your home life and emotional support, you're going to be more active and energetic in the world. We actually have quite a bit of Leo energy happening this month that creates an interesting storyline. Hopefully, we'll delve into that all in today's video. But as a basic starting point, with the sun in Leo from the 22nd through to the end of the month and halfway through August, you're going to feel like you want to prioritize your creativity, your passion, your play, and your expression. Mars has been hanging out in Leo for quite some time. I believe went direct April 16th and has been in Leo since June 17th. So, where your physical energy has recently been, that is now where you want to put your priority. This doesn't mean you're putting your physical effort into your creativity, your personal expression, your play, and your fun, but you may find that the more you keep this as a priority that you are organizing in your life and keeping a slow trickle of energy into, the more rewarded and more vital and warm you can feel in your life. Leo energy and Gemini energy are really going hand in hand so much this month to bring this social butterfly enthusiast energy to you, specifically Aries, that maybe makes you want to be more social. One reason for that being that on the 23rd, the sun in Leo will form a sextile to Uranus, newly in Gemini, which means unexpected encounters and changes in your daily digital or physical network could positively positively, reward you, and bring you more sense of vitality to your enjoyment in life. So your social network and your sense of fun are going hand in hand. On the 23rd, I will have a YouTube short slash TikTok slash Instagram reel, hopefully coming out about all these minor transits, so to say, throughout the month for more detail. But that's your key takeaway, is to pay attention to what's going on in your digital daily network and your physical daily network, and how this affects your sense of passion and play on the 23rd. And additionally, on the 23rd as well, I think that's supposed to say the 24th actually, the sun in Leo will oppose Pluto in Aquarius, which can bring back some old feelings that you maybe felt at the beginning of the year, of a push pull between, do I need purpose or do I need fun? Do I need to go out for drinks with friends or do I need to change the world? It can feel like your sense of purpose and impact is not directly working well with what brings you a sense of fun and enjoyment. You can feel at odds between having to choose between fun or purpose, or to be the bigger person or to enjoy yourself. So this is something to look out for and observe around the 24th, Aries. Now I kind of feel bad because I swear every single month I film these horoscopes, Aries, you're like my experimental child, because you're always the first one I film about, and your videos are always longer than everyone else's, because I'm still trying to get into the groove of how long these horoscopes are and what I want to say for each of you. So I'm sorry if these videos are kind of long and tangenty. Now let's move on to the moon transits. Per usual, you'll have our full and new moon this month. This tells us the emotional storyline and the emotional priorities in your life. The two major priorities for you in your life, Aries, this month is your career, your relationship to your career, success, recognition, as well as your relationship to your passion, play, and romance. So this is about work hard, play hard, really, for Aries this month. At the beginning of the month, 2 weeks in, we will have our full moon in Capricorn, which opposes Jupiter in Cancer in your 10th house, on peaking on the 10th, active from July 7th through to the 13th. During this week long period, you may have realizations, culminations, and fulfillment related to your career and your profession. This is stereotypically a lunation that is great for material success and having huge leaps forward in your career and your public image. This is you getting more seen, being more successful, being more of a professional. So, if you're an Aries sun, moon, or rising out there who is looking for career success, this full moon in Capricorn is likely going to be the time that brings that up. However, it may not feel like it goes well with the expansion you're trying to create in your emotional security. And there will be more advice coming out for you about that around the full moon in Capricorn around the 10th. So, probably coming out around the 7th, hopefully, is what I'm hoping to do. Additionally, we will have a new moon in Leo at 2 degrees that trines Neptune and Saturn, which is retrograde in Aries, on the 24th. Simply put, a new moon in Leo is bringing an invitation for you to initiate some sort of new beginning or a new intention around your creativity, passion, romance, and play. How do you have fun? What are the things you do just for fun? What are the romantic encounters you pursue for the sake of life enjoyment? The new moon in Leo is a time where you're going to feel called to initiate something new that brings more passion, play, and or romance into your life. And so the new moon in Leo is a great time to open yourself up to saying yes more, setting intentions for what kind of people you want to meet, as well as starting new creative hobbies and creative pursuits, initiating new things that are, simply put, fun. And like I said, we have quite a bit of Leo and Gemini energy this month. Another reason being Mercury. On July 15th, Mercury will station retrograde. Oh, sorry. July 18th, Mercury will station retrograde at 15 degrees of Leo, where it will remain retrograde in Leo until, I believe, August 11th. And around August 11th, Mercury will station direct in Leo. So it stays in one sign, as opposed to, I believe, our last retrograde around March, April in Aries also went back into Pisces. This is an interesting storyline here with Mercury going retrograde in Leo. And what this tells me, Aries, is that over this entire year, you have been really having to revisit and reflect on how you pursue passion, play, and romance. How do you find enjoyment through dating? And how do you find enjoyment through your creative passions and creative pursuits? You could be more of an Aries who has a creative project, or you could be more of an Aries who's had issues with dating over this year. But regardless, the reason I say this is because Mars was in Leo last year and went retrograde at the end of the year around December 6th. Then went retrograde back into Cancer and finally went direct once again in Leo, re-entered Leo, I believe, again from April 16th to June 17th. And so there's been this storyline around your physical efforts with passion, play, romance, and dating. You've been trying to pursue something, and then you felt like your efforts were not being matched, or your efforts were falling on deaf ears, so to say, in passion, play, creativity, romance. And now Mars has left Leo, entered Virgo, and Mercury has entered Leo, which is accentuating instead of effort in your passion, play, dating, romance, communication in your passion, play, dating, romance. But with Mercury retrograde, you're now reflecting on how far you've come. So, this Mercury retrograde can really be a great time for you to reflect on what has been going on with your passions, your play, your dating, your romance, and your creative pursuits since November of last year, in my personal opinion as an astrologer. So, making time to reflect on what you do for passion, what you do for creativity, what you do in dating, and how this aligns with your authentic, confident, bold self is encouraged this July of 2025. And I believe we also have a Kazemi happening on the 31st at the very end of the month. The Sun in Leo will conjunct Mercury in Leo in your fifth house. And I believe Mercury is still retrograde. Yes, obviously, since it doesn't go direct until August. And so, with this conjunction, you can probably feel like this is a day where there is greater realization. Simply put, there is a light shined on your communication and your mental clarity to help you understand what is going on. So pay attention to what thoughts come up on the 31st, simply put. Now, I know that technically Venus is not your planetary ruler, Aries, but Venus does so many different transits and aspects this month that are so rewarding for us all, that in this phase of life where there's a lot of retrogrades, only one of which we have touched on so far, Venus is like a light in the darkness right now, bringing us social ability, curiosity, open mindedness, and reminding us the value of asking questions and embracing intellect. Wherever Venus transits, that is where we can find love life and our love for life. So, focusing our efforts oftentimes into the wherever Venus is transiting is where we can find value for life, and also where we may find more romance. So for the Aries sun, moon, and risings watching this who are looking for love, listen extra careful. With Venus entering Gemini on July 4th, and where it will remain until July 30th, this means that the majority of the month of July, you can find love and love for life the more you focus on your daily network, your digital daily network, or your physical daily network. This means interacting with your neighbors, uh, it, expanding your daily bubble of places you go on a routine daily basis, the people you daily talk to, and also expanding potentially your digital network. For my social media creators out there, those who have a TikTok following, a YouTube following, you may feel more called to share on these platforms more. And for those who aren't social media creators, this is about you expanding, or finding value, better said, finding value for life and finding love life through your daily network. This is like the stereotype of in Hollywood movies where the girl meets the guy at a coffee shop. That is the energy of Venus and Gemini for you, specifically Aries. So being active in your physical or digital daily networks is how you're going to find love this month. And there's multiple reasons that I would also argue that you are likely to find love through these networks this month, because Venus does so many different aspects this month to other planets that are very positive. But also, simply put, for those who are not interested in dating, I want to say that Venus in Gemini means that you may find more value and love for life the more you share your knowledge digitally or physically, the more you interact. Be a messenger is the key takeaway I will give you. Be a messenger, share your knowledge. Now, on the 6th, Venus in Gemini will sextile Saturn and Neptune in Aries. And on the 6th, this is a positive connection to Saturn and Neptune that can bring a sense of self aligned with how you show up in your network. Simply put, who you are and who you are to the outside world are meeting to be very positive and harmonious. You may also feel like the discipline somehow that you have upheld with yourself is getting rewarded in maybe your love life. And then on the 7th, Venus in Gemini will trine Pluto in Aquarius. So on the 7th, with this trine, there could be some positive things happening in your community that introduce you to love, or positive things happening in your daily network that help your community. Your social circles are going hand in hand in a very positive way to bring you value, love, and self transformation, as this is Pluto. I could spend so long talking about this trine. Hopefully, I will have more videos coming out about it on YouTube Shorts or on TikTok. On the 23rd, Venus and Gemini will square Mars in Virgo. So maybe not the best day to try to be productive is honestly all I'm going to say about that, because Mars in Virgo means that being in a square means that we're just simply put, our efforts aren't necessarily feeling aligned, or we can feel like we don't know what exactly is happening with our physical efforts. So don't push a boulder uphill maybe on the 23rd. On the 30th, we finish out the month with Venus in Cancer. Honestly, I'm not really going to touch on Venus in Cancer because this is really much more of an August theme than a July theme, unless you're wanting to account for the last 2 days of the month where you feel more value through nurturing yourself. That's all I'm going to say. As I mentioned, Mars stays in Virgo this entire month. And so, with Mars in Virgo in your sixth house, you can feel like your physical efforts are most rewarded this month the more you channel your physical efforts, so to say, into your work, your health habits, and your routines. Aries, this is a time where if you do health habits, if you go to the gym consistently, if you do anything consistently and steadily, you will be more rewarded and feel like your physical energy is more vital rather than drained. Jupiter stays direct in the sign of Cancer in the month of July as well, which means overall you're still expanding your capacity to receive emotional nurturance and support in your home and family and with the place you live. So trying to expand this and continuing to expand this is recommended. Check out my YouTube video where I talk about Jupiter in Cancer. I'll hopefully remember to put it in the card up above so you can check that out. Now, here's the really interesting thing. We have not one, not two, not four, but three planets going retrograde in the sign of Aries: Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron, which is technically not a planet, but a asteroid going retrograde in Aries, which simply put, for you Aries, could feel like you're drawing within to yourself. I think this is a really great opportunity for Aries sun, moon, and risings to stop putting so much pressure on themselves, because Saturn retrograde is reflecting on the boundaries and restrictions we've put on ourselves. Neptune retrograde is reflecting on the ideals we've been upholding for ourselves. And Chiron retrograde is reflecting on the wounds we've tried to heal within ourselves and how we've tried to act differently with these ideals, so to say. And so, simply put, with all three of these planets going retrograde throughout the month, and I will have the dates over the screen for when exactly they go retrograde, this brings an energy to the month of July of reflecting within and not trying to put so much control, effort, and pressure on yourself, Aries. That's how I really interpret this. Making space to reflect on how far you've come, reflect on who you've become, reflect on who you've been trying to be, and making space to ask yourself if it's serving you to be this person, to uphold these standards, to put this pressure on yourself, if it's worthwhile. That is the theme really for you with Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron retrograde in Aries this month. Uranus enters Gemini on July 7th of 2025, and what this means is that over the next 7 years, you are changing your way of thinking about your digital network, your daily social spheres, and how you teach and share knowledge. Simply put, that's all I'm going to touch on for Uranus and Gemini. I will have hopefully a separate video coming out about this, but it's honestly more of a collective theme. So expect the unexpected starting July 7th with your digital network, with your daily network, with your teachings, your writing, your publishings, and your content creation. And last but certainly not the least, Pluto is still retrograde in Aquarius in your 11th house this month as well. Check out my video talking about Pluto and Pluto retrograde to know more about what that means. I really touched on the major opposition already with Leo, the sun in Leo on the new moon, and with Pluto, I believe. And simply put, you're reflecting on the personal wounds you've transformed around purpose and individuality within a community. And that is still a theme that is present in July of 2025. Now, this video has gotten to be really long, and normally I cover tips for each sign on what they should do with this energy in this month, but I've decided to make that a separate video series that'll hopefully be coming out on the page later. And at the very least, if I do not make a YouTube video talking about tips for each sign, including you, Aries, it will probably be at the very least a YouTube short and or a TikTok. So be sure to follow me over on TikTok. Be sure to turn on post notifications and let me know down in the comments below. Did this horoscope help you? Did you feel as accurate? Are you excited for the reflection, introspection, and rest that comes with all these retrogrades happening in July of 2025? What are you looking forward to the most? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos breaking down the stars and more. Again, please let me know if you liked the mic here, if that was better audio, or if you felt like it was worse. I would love to hear your feedback. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I sincerely hope you enjoyed. Once again, my name's Isabel, and from my heart to yours, namaste.